Welcome back to Talking Point with Stephen Taylor. We are in conversation with a good friend of mine, Mr. Sunil Osman. Welcome back, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Good to have you here. Enjoying yourself?
I am. Can I have a hug?
You're not on TV. You can. Let's try.
There we go. There we go. I'm a huggy, kissy person. What can I say? I'm not going to kiss you, though.
Yeah. All right, listen, man. But there is so much negativity in the world at the moment, not only in the US. I mean, there are wars that are taking place around the world. We're fighting against extremists and all this stuff. In South Africa, if we look at what's going on here, there's a lot of negativity around, fees must fall, around protests, around the state capture report that has just been released. So there's a lot of negativity around the world, and I think that we need to just come back to basics and say, what do we really want? Because in the world at the moment, and if we bring it home to South Africa and Africa, respect has kind of gone out the window.
I think so too. And if I can just touch on something which you mentioned, the fees must fall. When I was overseas, I did study.
You paid for your own education.
I paid for my own education. I actually worked my off to get to the point where I could get a scholarship, and I worked really hard. But besides that, I didn't realize the intensity of the fees must fall until I came back. I didn't realize how the universities are being closed and how people's lives are going to be affected. This has got a ripple effect. If you think about it, we are the future leaders, or actually the younger people. We're not that old, but the younger people are the future leaders of our country. And here we have an entire year taken out of their lives, which they cannot necessarily get back because they're delaying their studies, or they're not being able to put their full.
That's going to affect our future.
Exactly.
Maybe not now, but in the future, because now we need doctors, we need all those people to be going out into society and doing the job, but they can't, because now that process has been delayed. By not possibly a few months, but possibly a whole year, because now that whole academic year has been stopped.
Exactly.
And we need to, in principle, I agree with the fact that poor people and people that cannot afford to go to, university, it's not a right, but it is a right that you are able to go and get the education that you need. If you've worked hard for it.
Work hard, yes, there we go.
If you've achieved that, and they say, okay, you have been accepted into university, but the only stumbling block that you have is the fact that you cannot afford to get that education. I believe that you should get that education. But for those people that can afford, they need to contribute to society.
Yes.
They need to do their bit, as we all need to do.
Yes.
So I agree with fees must fall, but I do not agree with
the way it's going
aspect of it.
That's the thing. I agree with it as well, but I also don't like the way it's been done. It's really bad. I won't mention people's names, but there are certain people I know that have been part of this action, and I asked them why are you doing it, and they said, I just want to be part of the people that are doing it.
So they're not really supporting it.
They don't know the real meaning behind it.
But there's been so much crime and criminality that has come out of this. I've seen police cars' windows smashed and restaurants' windows smashed. People that have not been involved with fees must fall have not necessarily stood up against it, but are being targeted and being victims of crime, which is unfortunate. And littering and loitering and this stuff must stop.
Exactly. And then you hear people saying things like, this is why I want to leave the country. Yes, I know you're saying, okay, well, I left the country as well, but I'm so patriotic and I love South Africa so much that is why I go and work abroad. I'll come back and work here as well. Work abroad, work back here as well. Hardest thing obviously is managing a career here and managing a career abroad. But you know what? I'll always come back to my country. But now there are people who are saying they don't want to come back.
That's a problem.
It is a problem.
That is a problem. Look, I must say that one thing we have to thank the US and the UK for Brexit and US for the elections is the fact that our rand has strengthened. Our UK, a rand pound, very strong at the moment. It's gone from 24, 25 rand to 16 rand. That's a big improvement. People are not speaking about this stuff. People are not patting themselves on the back where they should be. The rand dollar also has strengthened. So there's a lot of positives that we need to take out of things, but it's only the negative stuff that has been reported on. We have a brilliant country. We have a great legacy that was built by many great leaders in this country.
Absolutely.
And let us not forget that. Let us not forget where we want to go and where we need to be. And let's not let the negativity that's happening right now affect our future and affect who we are as a nation.
Yeah.
We speak about America and the negativity that's going on there. Let's bring it home to South Africa. What do we want as a nation?
Yeah, and also you mentioned the word negativity, and you know what, I always try and take a negative, make it into a positive.
Yeah.
The problem is that, as you said, we're concentrating too much on that negative.
Yeah.
And on the other side of things, though, if you look at all these things, like, you know, the scandals that are being shown now, the corruption charges and all those things, those have always been going on.
Yeah.
Why are we not tapping the people in the back saying, well done for exposing it?
Yes. Yeah, if corruption was covered up, we wouldn't see the extent that we are today of people being implicated, people being, taken to court, prosecuted. We wouldn't see that.
Yes.
If corruption was protected, sweep it under the carpet, we wouldn't see what we're seeing today. So we should, rightly so, be patting those people on the back that are exposing this, that are blowing the whistle, and that are bringing these people to the front so that the public can say, all right, face the might of the law.
It also gives comedians a lot to write about.
It does. It does.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting what is happening at the moment, and I hope that we can look back and say, that happened, we got through it, and we worked together as a nation.
Yeah.
All the racism that's happening in the US and South Africa, around the world, it does not make things better. The things that are going on, the negativity, the violence, all that kind of stuff, doesn't create for a good society going forward. So we need to work together.
Yes.
We need to sit around the table and not sit around protesting.
Yeah.
That's not going to get us anywhere, because there's no dialogue that comes out of that.
Yes. Now, you mentioned the word dialogue right there, and racism, and I'm actually part of a group of about 6 actors that were chosen through an international company to do diversity training for a really large organization. I can't mention their name because it's behind doors. But part of what they were saying is there is not enough dialogue. People don't want to speak about those things. They don't want to speak about the elephants in the room.
Yeah.
And what we need to do is sit down and go, Stephen, tell me your story.
Yeah.
What is your story? Yeah, you're a white guy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you were privileged.
No.
I might have gone to University of Cape Town, did 2 of my degrees there, didn't mean my parents paid for it.
Yeah. I was not privileged enough to be able to go to university.
See.
I never qualified for that, and I was kind of, that happens in school. We kind of like, let's live the party life and do those kind of things. I wouldn't say that my marks were bad, but
you're dumb.
I never at that time thought about going to university, or I never prepared to go to university. So that I didn't do it, but I pushed on, and I became the person that I am today. Without a father, without, I had support from my family, yes, but basically I did it on my own.
Again, it comes down to everybody has a story.
Yes.
That car guard has a story.
Yes.
Stephen has a story.
Yes.
I have a story. The only way you can start learning to respect one another is by understanding one another's stories.
It's Talking Point with Stephen Taylor. We are in conversation with Sunil, Osman. We'll be back next.